Hello and welcome to another episode of Talking Africa, the podcast that gets behind the news from the continent, brought to you by the Africa Report. I'm Nick Norbrook. I hope you're all doing well. Head to theafricareport.com for news, analysis and opinion, but not until you've listened to this fascinating story of cocoa beans in their quest to get from farm to fork, or indeed chocolate bar. The coming into force of Africa's continental free trade area has raised hopes that the continent will see a spike in trade and in exports. But until a majority improve their roads, logistics will continue to eat into margins, and the farmers will be the last ones served. This report is brought to us from Liberia by Lucinda Rouse.
We enjoy smooth paved roads for the first 4 hours of our journey, starting in Liberia's coastal capital, Monrovia. But the further we drive, the bumpier and muddier it becomes. Our destination is Buto, a cocoa farming town just 2 kilometres from the border with the world's largest cocoa producer, Côte d'Ivoire. But despite the proximity and comparable growing conditions to the global market giant, which supplies nearly half of the world's cocoa and generated $3.3 billion in 2017, Liberia's output is tiny in comparison, contributing just 0.2% of the world's supply. One reason for this is bad roads, which increase the risk and cost of transporting cocoa from the farm to its export point at the port in Monrovia. We experienced the road conditions firsthand on our trip to Buto, travelling with cocoa trader George Howard.
I'm sure there's a problem here. Some trucks are already getting stuck. You want to take a walk outside?
So I'm looking at about 10 trucks. We've got 4 or 5 carrying rubber. Then we've got 1 fuel truck, 2 4x4s which are very heavily laden, completely stuck. Got a band of people digging them out of the mud. So now one of the rubber trucks is going to attempt to tow the other one out while we have several motorbikes going around them at the same time. Oh, and it's skidding. Here we go.
It's interesting.
Situations like this create problems for cocoa farmers and traders trying to get beans to market. It can take weeks to complete the 370-kilometre journey from Buto to Monrovia. The hazards encountered along the way also mean that the quality of the cocoa is far lower by the end of the journey, meaning farmers earn less.
So imagine if the cocoa is coming and you have this problem, the cocoa will have to stay here for almost 4 or 5 days. If it is not well dry, then all will get spoiled here. Yeah, before the cocoa reach Monrovia, everything will be rotten.
Further along the road, we come across a broken down truck laden with cocoa. We speak to the driver.
My name is Usman Kumari, and I came from Guinea. We are here to transport cocoa to town, but we are suffering on these roads. We have been stuck here for a week.
A little later, a muddy puddle is too deep even for our hardy Land Cruiser to pass through. Once the engine finally restarts, we have to make a detour, adding several hours to the already long journey. And our misfortune doesn't end there. So it is almost 10 p.m. It's been a long day. We started at 6 this morning, leaving Monrovia. and we are now sitting in the dark in the middle of the road, almost at Butu. I think we're about an hour away. It started raining very heavily and thought we were on the last stretch of a very long day, and then hit a rock and everything stopped. So George has gone back to get some help from, hopefully, some villagers behind. Had to walk because we have no phone signal in this area. So hoping he'll be back soon and that the car will start once we can get pushed out of the hole that we're currently in. After more than an hour of digging and pushing, our heroic helpers return to their beds as we are once again on the move. But not for long. The battery runs flat, the lights go out, and so we spend an uncomfortable night sleeping in the car, surrounded by lightning flashes. The next morning, we limp into Butu and send for a mechanic from the nearest big town many hours away. Producing cocoa is a labour-intensive process, and it's the farmers who lose out from the added costs and difficulties of transporting the cocoa along the bad roads. We visit the farm of 34-year-old Noir Kasha Lamy.
Okay, this one is also red. How we do the harvesting. The cocoa, we will process it the best way that we have been trained. We will harvest the cocoa, crack it, ferment it for 7 days, dry it on the mud, so that we'll be able to get the good quality.
Kasha explains how cocoa buyers come to his village and offer a price according to the quality of the beans, but then reduce it after completing the journey to Monrovia.
They will come in the community. When they see you as a farmer with your cocoa, they will say they want it. Then they will tell you, say, I will offer you, for example, $100. But until I can go to sell the come, I won't pay you. Then if you agree, they take the cocoa to market. When they come back, they will tell you a story that maybe the $100 that you and them agreed upon, they will not be able to pay you because of the condition that they will explain that they encounter on the way.
The main cocoa harvest occurs in the middle of Liberia's 5-month rainy season, when the roads are at their worst. In other parts of the country, farmers prefer to smuggle their cocoa into neighbouring Sierra Leone and Guinea, rather than suffer the journey to Monrovia. The government estimates that 20% of Liberia's cocoa leaves through these informal routes, losing much-needed export revenues for the country. George recalls one particularly bad cocoa transporting experience.
Even at one time, we were moving like 3 trucks in a row, and the first truck made it. The second one went on the bridge, and the bridge broke. I almost lost like 9 metric tons of cocoa in the water, because the bridge was bad, plank made out of wood, and once the truck broke the bridge, it hung over. So we had to offload the truck entirely, and then the first truck that had made it across the bridge pulled the truck that was already stuck in the bridge, and then we have to pay people again to reload the cocoa.
So why are the roads in such a bad condition? Back in Monrovia, we visit the offices of the newly established National Road Fund.
My name is Boniface D. Satu, and I'm the manager for the National Road Fund, Republic of Liberia. The key objective of the National Road Fund is to ensure that we provide adequate financing for maintenance, rehabilitation, and other construction works.
Satu says it comes down to a lack of upkeep. And since the Road Fund became operational 2 years ago, it's his job to change that.
From my own opinion, and from what I have observed, historically, I don't think we've been doing very good maintenance. So users on the roads, you should be able to pay road user charges. So that's why we generate funds through fuel levy. And we say approximately we generate close to 24 million on the average.
But this annual total is not enough, and funding continues to be an issue. As Satu says, over 60% of Liberia's road network is in a very bad condition.
Even as we speak, our annual road maintenance plan has a deficit over 10, 15 million. Last year we budgeted close to 35 million. Our revenue is just 24, 25. In most cases, we don't even meet the target. So the deficit is huge. And we need over 2 billion to 3 billion if we want to have a perfect network, and which is crucial to the development and economic viability of our country. We also need our international partners to be able to partner with us. We have a financing model to establish designated restricted funds for, let's say, matching fund with partners and the road fund.
Some road users are highly critical of the government's efforts. We met truck driver Mohamed Soare at another muddy bottleneck on our way back to Monrovia.
We're just taking risk for our life to drive with that kind of a road condition. Some of us left Monrovia now today making 1 week plus. You don't have no good sleeping place, no safe drinking water. One, we are driving under this kind of a condition on this road. Our life is not guaranteed.
It's not guaranteed.
And we are paying taxes to government revenue every year. What are they doing with the tax money they're collecting for us?
Soare describes the knock-on effect of the road conditions on the consumers of the goods he's transporting.
All the vehicles that are standing are social food inside. We have social food, back rest, social rest and gasoline, everything in this car. To help the people in the country. You are slaughtering the people. They are killing the people slowly. They added extraordinary price on this money to sell it to the people.
It wasn't always like this, according to George.
Even taxi, very small cars used to come here. And from all over the country, people will come here because this one the road they used to use from Monrovia to Ivory Coast, right to Abidjan.
That would be absolutely impossible now.
Oh, you can't even dream about it. Even a good vehicle like this, Land Cruiser is catching it tough to get along. But maybe in the dry season, they can pick a chance, but still it will be difficult for them.
George explains how Liberia's 14-year period of civil conflict caused the roads to deteriorate.
When the war was fighting, the rebels used this route, and for every time they would come to a town, they capture the town, and they don't want the government soldier to repair their attack. They will always put a grenade or a bomb on the bridge and cut it off. And then suddenly there were no more repairs on the road.
So how many years was that we went with no maintenance on these roads?
I can say like 14 years, 14 good years without maintenance.
But 17 years since war ended, the network is still far from being restored or well maintained. And it's not a problem restricted to Liberia. Experts say weak cross-border infrastructure across Africa is limiting the chances of a new continental free trade area from taking off. If successful, the free trade area is projected to generate $450 billion for African countries by 2035. Liberia's bad road network is keeping cocoa farmers in poverty. George's vision is to get farmers certified so that they can enter the premium chocolate market and earn a better price for their high-quality produce.
If you go in the community in the night, everywhere is dark, no light. They are living in darkness. They have problems with having safe drinking water, and they will get sick and not even be able to pay for a medical bill. And they will only eat one time a day, and that will mean like maybe 5 p.m. in the evening or 6 p.m. in the evening. That will be the only meal they will have for the day. So it's really terrible. The farmers will tell you, for me, even if I can make $3,000 in a year and save $1,500, they said they will be happy. If the government was just to give some attention to cocoa farming here, and once the roads are improved, that means life will be better. Cocoa will go easily to Monrovia for export. Life around here will be easy. People will move around much easier. People can come for a day visit and go back. I mean, more people will be able to come and invest. But with the kind of bad road condition, of course, nobody will want to look at it really being possible to do what they want to do.
Bad roads are by no means the only challenge facing Liberia's cocoa sector, but improving them would do much to boost quality and productivity, ultimately transforming these farmers into key players in the premium chocolate supply chain. A drive to use low-cost road surfacing alternatives, such as laterite, is a step in the right direction. potentially bringing construction costs down from $1 million per kilometre of road to a couple of $100,000. This is Lucinda Rouse for the Africa Report.
That's all for this week. I hope you enjoyed that, something a little different for Talking Africa. Do let us know how you liked it. You can email us at the following address, feedback@theafricareport.com. And if you do, we'll even send you a discount to help you get over our upcoming paywall. Please do rate and review us wherever you get your podcasts. It's just the right thing to do. And head to theafricareport.com for details on how to sign up to our daily briefing. I'm Nick Norbrook. Thanks for listening.